Coming up on the September 15th edition of Sports Extra. Pirates. Can the Heels take out what has suddenly become a football powerhouse down east?
3 matches, 3 wins. We discuss how the volleyball team dug deep and dominated the competition.
And one Carolina basketball great is having his story coming out in a children's book. All that and more, Sports Extra starts
right now.
From the University of North Carolina School of Journalism and Mass Communication, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics, this is Sports Extra.
No football, no problem. Welcome to the September 15th edition of UNC's only sports show, Sports Extra. I'm Alana Albrecht.
And I'm Susanna Black. It was the weekend of the Olympic sports. Soccer, volleyball, tennis, all dominating performances. Even without a game, though, the Carolina football team found a way to get into the news. The university has announced its investigation into the football hazing incident is complete. The student-led honor court is now looking at the case as hazing and fights fall under the jurisdiction of the court. Sophomore cornerback Brian Walker is one of the 4 players being investigated. He leads the team with 2 interceptions. Hi, Grace. Joining us now to talk about what UNC has to look forward to this weekend on the field is Daily Tar Heel sports editor Grace Rayner. Grace, the memory of the Pirates raiding Chapel Hill last season is still fresh on everybody's mind.
Yes, Susanna, it is, and for good reason. The Pirates stomped the Tar Heels 55-31, so let's take a look back at what went wrong. Once ECU got rolling 3 minutes into the first quarter, the Pirates couldn't be stopped. Carolina's defense slept, and the Pirates made the Heels pay. Early in the third quarter, ECU was up 35-10. Quarterback Shane Carden had a career day. Carden threw for nearly 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Carolina offense did put up 31 points, but that wasn't nearly enough to overcome the 55 points ECU put up in the thrashing.
Wow, talk about bad. But this team isn't the same team as last year.
Yeah, the defense especially has a new identity. This group is a lot younger. Star players like Kareem Martin, Trey Boston, and Jabari Price are gone. So people had to step up, and the transition has been better than expected. These guys still give up a lot of yards, 855 to 2 unranked and non-conference opponents. The turnovers really make up for it, though, 9 in 2 games. That has the Tar Heels tied for second in the country with UVA. The Pirates might have won the most recent meeting between these 2 teams, but history favors the Heels. Carolina leads the series with 12 wins, 3 losses, and a tie. Prior to last season, UNC had won 4 straight. The last time Carolina swung by Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium, there was a record-setting crowd, so chances are it'll be a little loud. This could go either way, but unless Carolina utilized this bye week effectively, the Tar Heels might be coming back to Chapel Hill 2-1.
The Pirates really present a challenge. Grace Rayner, thanks for joining us.
The Heels have some big games in front of them. Let's take a look at what they have coming up. Besides the game against ECU, Carolina has plenty of tough games. The Heels will take a trip to Death Valley to play number 22 Clemson, then swing by South Bend to play number 9 Notre Dame in October. UNC will have at least one more night game this year when Carolina battles the Blue Devils in Durham. Many walk-on athletes for big schools never leave the sidelines. They spend most of their college careers cheering for their teammates. However, some players, like wide receiver Mac Hollins, are lucky enough to get that big break. Brian McIntosh has more.
The 6'3" receiver from Rockville, Maryland, has become one of the Tar Heels' newest offensive weapons, making key touchdown catches in each of Carolina's 2 wins this season. He even set a record with this 91-yard touchdown against San Diego State. Hollins wasn't recruited out of high school. He uses this as motivation every day.
Yeah, I mean, it is a chip, but I like having it there because it's a difference between walk-ons and scholarship because you have to earn that scholarship role, and that's what I had to do. So I want that chip on my shoulder. I don't want to take it off.
Hollins says that his recent success doesn't change anything.
Everything's the same for me. Working hard. I don't think because you start doing well, you should change how you do things. If you're doing well, just keep it up.
Scoring touchdowns apparently isn't his only talent. Teammates and coaches say that he is the funniest and weirdest player on the team.
I might be the funniest, best looking or something like that, but I don't know about weirdest. I don't know about all that. Hey, Sean, you telling people I'm the weirdest? You know what I'm talking about, Coach? He talking about I'm the weirdest. That's crazy.
Hollins also has a pretty funny nickname, Backpack Mac.
That's from a backpack that I always brought around with me 24/7. Because anytime I have some, I don't like to have it away from me. So I had a backpack that was always with me.
Hollins is happy about his recent success with the team, but is eager to grow more as a player.
It means a lot. It was a long journey, and I haven't arrived where I want to be yet, but I feel like I'm on the way.
Carolina fans certainly hope that there's more to come from Backpack Mac. In Chapel Hill, I'm Brian McIntosh reporting.
Hollins had 0 catches last year. Now he leads Carolina in receiving yards through 2 games, averaging 37.5 yards a catch.
There's a lot going on regarding the future of the NCAA. The UNC School of Law Sports and Entertainment Association recently hosted a panel discussion about the O'Bannon case. A U.S. district judge ruled in favor of former UCLA basketball player Ed O'Bannon last month. O'Bannon sued the NCAA for violating antitrust laws. He believes athletes should be paid for the commercial use of their likenesses. Student athletes and even athletics director Bubba Cunningham attended the event. The panel included professors, athletic staff, and ESPN college basketball analyst Jay Billis. As a practicing lawyer and former student athlete, Billis has unique insight about players getting paid.
These schools are banding together to make billions of dollars off this enterprise. It's great. Make as much as you can. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with what coaches are paid. I have a problem with the cartel restriction saying an athlete can only get a scholarship and that's it.
The NCAA is appealing the judge's ruling, the main argument being a 1984 Supreme Court case that ruled against paying student athletes to preserve the integrity of the sport. The Tar Heels have been showing off their new jerseys a lot nowadays, but who's the man responsible for making sure the football team looks so good? Tate Frazier finds out.
You've seen the jerseys the Tar Heels wear on game day, but what goes into putting the gear together? UNC football assistant equipment manager Jason Freeman says it's harder than it looks.
You can never please everybody. When you've got 120 players on the football team, not everybody's going to be happy with the combination.
Freeman is in charge of getting the Tar Heels game ready in his behind-the-scenes role.
We don't want to be in the spotlight. We want everything to run smoothly. If we're in the spotlight, then probably something's gone wrong.
Jerseys, cleats, helmets. Beyond the usual expectations of an equipment manager, the goal for helping the players is simple.
2 hours before the game, everything kind of runs smooth and they can focus on playing and not so much about their equipment.
But what happens when players forget their equipment?
Yeah, we've got extras of everything. We take a 53-foot tractor trailer, so it's loaded from front to back with equipment.
Sounds like a lot of work and not a lot of recognition. What's in it for Freeman?
Feeling like a part of the team, feeling a part of that family, but also being on the sidelines for the game.
Plus, the gear's great too. In Chapel Hill, I'm Tate Frazier reporting.
If you're a stay-at-home mom or dad, Freeman feels your pain. He and his crew do 18 large loads of laundry a day. Basketball players tend to be pretty tall, right?
Well, this young volleyball player towers over every guard on the men's basketball team, and she's reaching for the stars. Next on Sports Extra.
Connect with us online by liking the Sports Extra Facebook page and following us on Twitter @SportsExtra_UNC.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
It's harder whenever there's a bigger group. Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
Used to call me the buttered biscuit. Back then, I was a sex expert. I know about birth control, too.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
The volleyball Heels have been great on the road so far this season, going 4-1.
And they hope to continue that success this weekend against 3 different opponents in the Carolina Classic. The Tar Heels kicked off the tournament with an exciting 5-set match against number 16 Kentucky. The team started strong offensively with plays like this kill from junior Victoria McPherson winning the first set. But success didn't last long as the Wildcats came back to dominate sets 2 and 3. Despite being down 2-1, they never lost hope and rallied to win the next 2 sets. They completed the comeback on this point, giving the team its second victory against a ranked opponent this season. After sweeping Georgia Southern 3-0 earlier Saturday morning, the Tar Heels closed the weekend against VCU, sweeping the Rams with a 3-0 win and clinching the Carolina Classic title. The Heels will be at home next weekend in the ACC Big 12 Classic. A stellar weekend for Carolina, taking the Carolina Classic in a dominating manner. Volleyball analyst Molly Oak joins us in studio. Molly, are the Heels really this good?
They're that good and more, Alana. Carolina shined during the entire tournament and saw some great individual performances against VCU and Kentucky over the weekend. I was a little worried when I saw Kentucky up against the matchup because they are ranked 1 higher than us. But however, they do run a very fast offense, but Carolina fortunately answered back with some offensive strength of its own. Not only did Beth Nordhorn have career-high kills this weekend, but so did Haley McCorkle and Lauren McAdoo with 11 kills each. They were killing it, literally. Those 2 are consistently leading the team, and they're the main force behind a powerhouse offense that should push Carolina higher in the rankings before they reach the postseason. The Heels have had a couple of tough opponents this season, but things are really going to heat up looking ahead. This week in the ACC Big 12 Classic, Carolina will take on Oklahoma and West Virginia at home. But those aren't the matches we're looking to. Fast forward to next Friday, September 26th, the Tar Heels venture to Tallahassee to take on top 10 Florida State Seminoles. Talk about a big match, Alana, if Carolina wants to make some noise in the NCAA tournament, the Heels need to beat tough teams like this.
They'll have to do something, that's for sure. The last time volleyball beat the Seminoles in Tallahassee was in 2001. That's volleyball analyst Molly Oak. Thanks, Molly.
Being tall in volleyball gives you a big advantage, so one of UNC's newest arrivals has a chance to be awfully good. Caleb Waters tells us more.
Standing at a towering 6 foot 6 inches, freshman Beth Nordhorn is used to being the tallest person in the room.
I started out 6th grade at like 5'9", and then by the end of 7th grade, I was 6'3.5".
The middle blocker from Orlando, Florida started out playing basketball, but soon found her way to the sport with a different kind of ball and net.
Volleyball I just liked because I think you have to think a lot about everything that you're doing, and hitting is really fun too.
According to head coach Joe Segula, Beth's height isn't the only thing that defines her.
I mean, you can be tall but not be a very good player. But she was very well skilled, experienced, and confident on the court, and she's a great student. I thought it was a great fit for her to be at North Carolina. I think she brings a lot of things, both on and off the court.
For now, Beth is trying to earn her spot on one of the nation's top volleyball teams.
I think she's really grown and moves well in that position, and I think she adds a confidence about herself and knows how to play like a big person at the net.
Right now I'm just trying to do everything I can to help the team, and I really just appreciate how well they've helped me kind of fit in, and it hasn't been like a big transition.
For Beth, the sky is the limit, which for her might not be that hard to reach. In Chapel Hill, I'm Caleb Waters, reporting.
Now, Nordhorn definitely saw some action this weekend as she played in 5 sets and racked up 10 kills.
While the men's soccer team is off to a good start to the season, the number 3 Heels won a decisive 3-0 victory against Pitt in their ACC season opener Friday. Freshman Alan Wynn took a pass from Niambi Jabang, flicked the ball to himself, turned toward the goal and finished it off to score the first goal of his Carolina career. Following the first assist of his career, Jabang scored his first collegiate goal, sending this left-footed shot past the keeper for a 2-0 lead. Junior Jonathan Campbell scored the third and final goal in the 72nd minute. Redshirt sophomore Jabang is back on the field for the first time since 2012 after suffering multiple knee injuries and a broken leg. We all know how hard athletes work, but what happens when pushing your body to the limit becomes dangerous? For one former Tar Heel, a near life-ending experience has changed the way she looks at her sport. Kylie McCoy brings us the story.
Former UNC student athlete Mariana Lucina used to be thin, too thin. When she was 13 years old, Lucina joined her middle school track team. But rather than falling in love with running, Lucina fell into an obsession with losing weight.
I started losing weight quickly and people commented on it. So I kind of started going into this vicious cycle of eating less, going to the gym, and I felt good and people commented on it, so it took a hold of me.
Lucina said her parents tried everything before eventually taking her to the hospital. Lucina said she realized how important it was for her to be a successful and healthy runner, and there was only one way to do that.
As a runner, I wanted to look strong, and the only way to do that was to feed myself and not let anorexia take over myself again.
5 years after being diagnosed with anorexia, Lucina earned an academic scholarship. She was a member of the track and field team and graduated from the Eshelman School of Pharmacy. But the road to success wasn't always smooth.
The thought of losing weight to become faster always went through my mind, but I never wanted to go down that route again.
And the route that lies ahead is looking bright for Lucina.
At the end of every run or every race, I feel joy, and I think it's because it is my natural drug. It's cured my mental illness of anorexia, and I will never take that for granted.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Kylie McCoy reporting.
Lucina is now working for Kroger Pharmacy in Durham and is a member of the Fleet Feet running team in Carrboro.
Last week, we showed you what it's like for a male to undergo health assessment tests that measure body mass and body composition, and which tests are more accurate. But do the results differ for females? Alexis Simmons reports.
Body mass index and body composition are 2 ways to measure how healthy you are. But UNC senior Candace Howe says your results might not be what you expect.
So I was kind of surprised at first, and I think I was worried, wait, am I doing something wrong?
Howe's body mass index, also known as BMI, categorizes her as being a normal size, but that's based only on height and weight. Graduate assistant of the Functional Movement and Fitness Center, Jordan Lee, knows BMI can leave out important details body composition tests reveal.
The skin fold test, which you're kind of grabbing a section of skin to see how much skin and fat are in that area of the body. For the handheld bioelectrical impedance, that it's a little device that you hold your arms out straight and there's a current that's sent through your body.
These body composition tests show the percent of fat in your body compared to everything else, like your muscles and bones, and gives you ideal goals based on age, while BMI simply tells you if you're obese, underweight, or somewhere in between.
So body composition is much more helpful in that respect because you get to see the actual values.
House's body composition of 24.9% body fat is a value she didn't know was poor. A good range for women in their 20s is between 17.3 and 19.4%. But remember, her BMI put her in a normal weight category, failing to consider what type of weight she's made of.
So when someone says that they lose weight, you have to determine what type of weight did they lose. Is it good weight that they lost, bad weight that they lost?
Something BMI can't tell you, but body composition tests can.
Your body can tell you a lot of different things depending on what you're looking at, so you kind of have to always evaluate yourself from like a bigger perspective and not just look at one thing.
And looking from a bigger perspective, always consider multiple health assessment tests so you'll know how healthy you actually are, because BMI can't give you as full of an evaluation as body composition tests can. In Chapel Hill, I'm Alexis Simmons reporting.
Now, women have higher body fat percentages than males do because of their ability to reproduce. That's why you can't compare yourself to someone of the opposite sex. Football, wrestling, and now field hockey.
UNC Athletics runs in this family. Next on Sports Extra.
Good one, son.
Last summer, my new dad took me on vacation. First, we went deep sea fishing. Wow!
I'm so proud of you, son.
And then we went on Thunder Shark. That was awesome! Let's go again. 3 times. I gotta say, it was pretty cool.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Oh, not again.
My new mom and I have a lot in common.
The great outside.
We both love the outdoors.
It's so shiny.
That's not a flower. We both love geology.
Oh, look. An igneous one.
That's not a rock. And she knows a lot about wildlife.
A labradoodle.
That's not a dog. Hanging out has been kind of fun.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Carolina field hockey remains undefeated, earning its 5th victory and first shutout of the season against 5th-ranked Syracuse. Senior Charlotte Craddock set the tone of the game with her 3rd opening goal of the season, followed by this goal from Lauren Sheely. Great saves from sophomore goalkeeper Shannon Johnson held the Orange off well into the second half. Junior Nina Nottom delivered Carolina's 3rd goal with this powerful penalty stroke. The Heels walked away with their 5th victory to the delight of 600 Fever fans. Carolina is 1-0 in the ACC. Freshman field hockey player Alex Gorey is following in the steps of her father and uncle and carrying on a rich athletics tradition at UNC. Morgan Ammons has the story.
Cavs major. Number 28, a freshman from Pittsburgh, North Carolina, Alex Gorey.
Being a Tar Heel athlete is a tradition in the Gorey family, and freshman field hockey player Alex Gorey is now a part of that legacy.
So I've always had Carolina with me as I was growing up, and I've always loved it, so it's always been a dream of mine to come to UNC.
Her father, Alan, had the same dream. He was the center for the UNC football team in the 80s and is proud of his daughter.
Seeing her on the field in the uniform was kind of a unique experience. It was a lot of fun for my wife and I to see that.
Her uncle, Thomas Gorey, wrestled at UNC and is a member of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame.
But I don't actually get to see him that much because he is a brigadier general in the Marine Corps, which is an awesome honor to have.
Growing up with a father and uncle who played sports at UNC established her love for the school.
I have a lot to live up to, but I believe that nothing should be handed to you, so I don't want to have anything handed to me, and I just want to be known for being a hard worker.
And she is determined to work as hard as necessary to carry on the family name. In Chapel Hill, I'm Morgan Ammons reporting.
Alex's parents live in Pittsburgh and haven't missed a game this season, home or away. She says her uncle, the General, will come see her play soon.
The women's tennis team has been awesome in recent years, and there were a few impressive performances in Cary this weekend at the Duke Fab Four Invite. Kate Vial and Ashley Dye won the consolation final in their bracket against Duke. Haley Carter finished third in the blue bracket, winning in 2 sets. Carter is now ranked third nationally in singles. Freshman Marika Ackerman finished third in her consolation bracket. The next tournament for the women's tennis team isn't until September 27th in California.
UNC Swimming participated in the 10th annual peer-to-peer swim at Wrightsville Beach this weekend. The swimmers raced 2 miles from Crystal Pier to Johnny Mercer's Pier. It was assistant swimming coach Chip Peterson who finished first with a time of 33 minutes. I don't think the swimmers will ever hear the end of this one.
A win in every single sport the Heels competed in this weekend. Pretty impressive. The men's golf team won the Tar Heel Intercollegiate at UNC's Finley Golf Course this weekend. The Heels won the 18-team event with an 838, 23 strokes better than the closest competition. Freshman Ben Griffin shot 10 under and took his first collegiate individual win. The team will travel to Virginia next week for the Primlin Collegiate Invitational. From the hardwood of the court to a story aimed at kids.
When Sports Extra returns, we'll show you how Phil Ford's story will inspire others.
Don't forget to tune in to our sister shows, Carolina Week at 5 p.m. every Wednesday on Time Warner 24 or Campus Channel 34, and Carolina Connection at 8:30 every Saturday morning on WCHL 97.9 FM.
Enroll, we say, we want you to be okay. Enroll, we say, take care of people for goodness sake.
What if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow.
My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
From the record books to picture books.
UNC basketball legend Phil Ford is the second leading scorer in Carolina history, and now he's a local author and telling his story in a children's book. Brett Thompson has more.
What if I told you that arguably the greatest basketball player in UNC history has never dunked a basketball? Art Chansky is telling Phil Ford's improbable success story.
This past December, I finished a children's book. It's about my life up until my rookie year in college, called The Kid Who Couldn't Dunk.
The book is intended to inspire children who might not be the most athletically gifted.
And the reason that the book was written, Art approached me a couple years ago, and I've never dunked a basketball. And with all the bullying and young kids thinking you have to be the smartest and the fastest and the prettiest, I had some success as a basketball player, and I never dunked a basketball.
To promote the book and spread the message, Ford also goes to schools and reads it to children.
Young kids, for some reason, tend to get a kick out of it. I guess, they're like everyone else. When I tell someone that I've never dunked a basketball that don't know me, you should see the look on their faces. And, the young kids are the same way. I was a pro player, I coached professionally, and I've never dunked a basketball.
Ford hopes his story will ultimately serve as proof that athleticism isn't everything.
I hope that when kids read this book, and now everyone thinks you have to dunk, to be a great basketball player. If you can't dunk, if you aren't athletic, you can't be a good basketball player. But I was blessed and had some success as a basketball player.
From someone who couldn't jump the highest, Phil Ford's book could turn out to be a slam dunk. From Chapel Hill, I'm Brett Thompson reporting.
Thanks for watching.
Good night.